Apologize for the delay on behalf of HR. We are sorry, but we are ready to roll now. So without further delay, I'm going to introduce our MC, Ms. Charlene Harris, the VP of all things technical and information technological. So Ms. Harris.
Good morning, thank you. And that was Ron Meek, our Director of Human Resources. And the reason he said, or director of everything or whatever technical is because he can't remember my title. But good morning and welcome, honorees, retirees, employees, and distinguished guests, friends and families who are viewing the live stream. As Mr. Meek said, I am Charlene Harris, the Vice President of Information Technology and Institutional Assessment. See why he couldn't say it? It is my pleasure to welcome you to our first in-person award ceremony since 2019. A lot has happened to us over the last couple of years. It is absolutely wonderful seeing you all, and in some cases, for the first time. Hey, Sue. This year's event is also the first brunch ceremony and our first live stream, as I said. Though one of first, the Human Resources team has worked to ensure that we have a memorable ceremony. And woman of words, few words I should say, woman of few words that I am, we're just gonna get down to business. As we kick off the 2022 Employee Award Ceremony, join me in welcoming Mr. David Capriola, coordinator of the Freshman Seminar, who will lead us in our invocation.
Thank you. This is easy because we all know that UVI is a very spiritual institution. I think, as a matter of fact, much of our individual spirituality goes into creating the spirit of this institution. We pray here a lot, even if it's just, God help me through this day. I'd like us all, while we pray this morning, to think of Dean of Students Hedda Finch Simpson and pray for her recovery as well. Dear God, your love fills our hearts and embraces each of our lives. All that we do acknowledges you, honors you, and give you thanks. We cannot see you, yet you are the light that guides our every step. We cannot hear you, but you speak through our voices. We cannot feel you, yet you are the power at work in our hands. We cannot fully understand you, yet you are the source of our wisdom. Whenever and wherever we need you, you are always there. You are the love that we can cling to. You are our certainty and assurance. You are our peace. We are one with you, for you are in us and we are in you. In your goodness, be present with us today as we celebrate the achievements of our fellow employees. May this joyful occasion assure us of your constant guidance. Bless all the members of our university community as we join together in giving you thanks for the goodness that your love and power enables within us. We ask these petitions as we ask all things in your great name. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Capriola. I'd like to welcome President David Hall to offer some welcome remarks.
Good morning. Thank you, Charlene, for serving as our MC for today. Thanks to all of you who are present, especially our honorees. We are especially proud of you and thankful for you. To the family members and friends who are watching via live stream, I want to thank you for allowing these various individuals who we will honor today to give a portion of their lives to us, to this institution. You may at times feel it's too large a portion, but we are just very, very thankful. I certainly want to thank our HR department for their outstanding work in organizing not just this event, but the one that we will have on St. Thomas later this week, and for the many years of pulling all of this together. It requires a lot. It is a lot of behind the scenes work and decisions. And so I would ask that you join me in thanking our Human Resources Department for their contribution. I am always excited about coming to these service award programs, but I must admit I was extra excited when I found out who Human Resources had invited to serve as the keynote speaker. And so I want to welcome our keynote speaker, Dr. Marilyn Braithwaite Hall, and I look forward to her every word. We bring all of us together for a few important reasons. Number one is to recognize the milestones that some of our members of this community have reached, important milestones, 5, 10, 15, sometimes 40 years. The milestone of retirement. We want to recognize individuals when they reach that particular point. But there's another reason why we gather, and that is to specifically thank those individuals for their years of service and contribution to this institution. And finally, I see it as an opportunity to thank us collectively, to thank all of you collectively for your contributions to UVI, because it is your contributions that make a difference, that allow us to continue on a daily basis. It goes without saying, but I will say it anyhow, this has been a challenging year. When we reflect on where we started and the controversy and decisions around the vaccination requirement, the presence of COVID around us, the other types of challenges that we were facing, and the fact that we lost individuals who were dear to us, and yet we still had to move forward, all contributed to this being a very challenging year. And yet, last week, we graduated nearly 300 students, which means that we achieved our goal, because that is our primary goal, to support our students to achieving their dreams. But that goal is not just achieved because of a president or a provost or the faculty who vote on whether they should be certified, but it is a product of every one of you who do your part in making sure this institution is moving forward. And so I thank you for allowing us to stay focused and continue to achieve our mission regardless of what we face. I know that you probably cannot see the heart of a president, of your president, but if you could see my heart, you would know that there is a sincere and authentic gratitude for each one of you and what you do to make this institution move forward. You would see that I do not take for granted that there are sacrifices that you make on behalf of this institution that you probably don't have to make. The long hours, the doing things that aren't necessarily a part of your job description, those are the things that really make a difference. And for that, my heart is full of gratitude. And finally, I hope you will find the time, not only today as our honorees bask in their achievements, to be thankful yourself for this opportunity. Having an institution where you can work and having the security of what that institution provides is a blessing, even though it's frustrating, I am sure. But it is a blessing, and please reflect on that blessing and take something away from it besides the, I know I need some background music. It's you've heard this voice so much, it probably needs a lot of background music. But take some time to understand that you are being blessed, and those who will be celebrating milestones of 15, 20, 30s, and on St. Thomas, I don't know about here, we have someone 45 years. That's a blessing. And please make sure that you embrace that as well. So thanks to all of you for making today possible. I look forward to you receiving your awards, the honorees, but I look forward to all of us collectively having a wonderful, inspiring time together. Thank you.
Thank you, President Hall. I now welcome Vice President Shirley Lake King, the Vice President of Administration and Finance, to introduce our guest speaker.
Good morning, everyone. It gives me great privilege to introduce our guest speaker. As we've indicated before, we have become through some very turbulent times recently. We are still in recovery mode from our 2017 hurricanes, and then here came the pandemic. And so here we are resuming our annual events. I'm talking too long? Here we are resuming our annual events, and we were looking for a guest speaker. And so we looked around, and clearly we are all in need of some wellness coaching, some self-care. I'm sure there's hardly anyone in this room that has not been touched by COVID in some way, whether it's a family member or personally. And so we come to work, we're delivering, and as President Hall indicated, we have graduated close to 300 students, but it didn't just happen. It took all of us collectively to be there, to do what we needed to do to keep those students engaged and to cross the stage. But at the same time, we were carrying hurt and pain. And so we are in a space where I'm sure all of us could do with some wellness coaching right now. So we thought it best to get our First Lady to do just that. So she'll be delivering, and she was a speaker before in 2016. So when you invite repeat guests to your home, what does it say? That they were great, right? You want them to come back. So now we have a repeat presenter, but in a different space at a different time when we are really in need of pearls of wisdom. So allow me to introduce her. Dr. Marilyn Braithwaite Hall is an independent consultant, facilitator, trainer, and speaker with a background in higher education administration, consulting, counseling, program development, and personal coaching. She developed and co-led Rotary's Wellness Wednesdays, 87 radio shows on WSTA Radio with Paul Domingue for 2 years as a result of the many impacts of Irma Maria. And if I must confess to my boss, I would tune into the program on every Wednesday at 10 o'clock to hear those words of comfort and peace, and so I can continue my day. So President Hall, when I wasn't always available on Wednesdays at 10 o'clock, it was because I was listening to Marilyn. But they were, if you had an opportunity to listen to them, they were really calming, the exercises, taking into the space of reflecting and thinking about, the peace that you need to have. They were very, very inspirational. So thank you, Dr. Marilyn, for that. Dr. Marilyn provided leadership to the scientific committee for the historic 5th and all-virtual Caribbean Regional Conference for Psychology, which is CRCP 2020+, hosted by the Association of Virgin Islands Psychologists, with over 280 attendees from the Caribbean and other global locations in November of 2021. She was appointed in February 2022 to the position of Interim Secretary General of the Caribbean Alliance of National Psychological Associations. Dr. Marilyn, as she's affectionately called, is involved in a variety of community services to the Virgin Islands, including serving on the Board of Trustees for Antilles School and the Rotary's Champions for Change, addressing health and wellness for those living with diabetes. Her degrees and training include Tufts University with Bachelor's of Arts, Harvard University Education Masters, Northeastern University with a PhD, Georgia State University postdoc, and a personal coaching certification. Born in Jamaica and raised in Brooklyn, the Bronx, and Boston, sounds like moving on up, Dr. Marilyn has lived in the Virgin Islands since 2009. She is a mother of 2 adult daughters, Sekile and Kiamsha, and spouse to our own president, Dr. David Hall, the 5th president of the University of the Virgin Islands. And what's not included in this bio that I was given to read is that Marilyn is an excellent co-pilot. I have the evidence here. She keeps those around her calm in the midst of turbulence, and turbulence we've had. Her role is important to the success of the journey that we are all on to keep UVI on course. She's not only our First Lady, but she's the yin to our President's yang. Please join me in welcoming to the stage our own First Lady, Dr. Marilyn Braithwaite Hall.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. How are you all doing? This is a fabulous, wonderful day, a day that we celebrate service and commitment to the community of UVI, to the gift of the students who have graduated. And so I am so excited. Can you tell I'm excited? I am really excited to be here. Thank you, Ms. Shirley Lake King, for that wonderful introduction, and I thank you for the invitation. Round number 2. Okay, I don't know if this means it's going to be another round number 3. And good morning to all those in the viewing audience, and so glad that you could join virtually to celebrate your loved ones who have celebrated with you in all different ways and are here on this day to be celebrated through UVI. I want to thank you, David Hall, for your support and your love and your partnership and all the ways in which we journey through this UVI part of our lives together. So I thank you so very much. So everybody in the audience, I want you to repeat after me. You ready? Wellness is the new normal at UVI. Say that. Wellness is the new normal at UVI. I want you to say it one more time. Wellness is the new normal at UVI. Wellness is the new normal at UVI. And one more time to make it real down up in here. Wellness is the new normal at UVI. I want you to hear what you just said to yourself. Wellness is the new normal at UVI. Think about that for a minute. Let it settle in you for this moment. I had an experience a few weeks ago when I was looking for a pair of shoes to go to a funeral, sadly. And when I discovered I was digging in the closet, looking for this pair of shoes. When I found the pair of shoes, because I had not worn it in a while, when I took it out of the box, it was decayed. The glue was, you know what I mean? This is the islands. The glue was coming loose. It didn't look the way that I had been accustomed to this pair of shoes. But I was like, Shirley, ain't nobody gonna see me with my little raggedy shoes on, because I love this pair of shoes and it went with my outfit. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it just fit the thing. And so I put on the shoes and swear to God, I wore it. When I got back home, I was like, Marilyn, seriously? You wore these shoes out? And when I looked at the shoes, I realized that the shoes had journeyed just like we had through all of the trials and tribulations of the last 4 years. And they were the outward manifestation of what we have gone through Irma Maria and through these incredible transforming years of COVID. And so I want you to appreciate that there are things that are not seen to the eye, but other people may see those things that are different in you that you may not have noticed in yourself. This COVID thing has been the silent virus that has been the new reality of our ongoing trauma, quite frankly. And throughout these lived experiences of Irma Maria, recovery, and then this global pandemic that is now, I understand, moving into endemic status, we have all had to shift, adapt, move, become again and again and again through this journey. We've heard the word resilience. And y'all hear the word resilience all the time. The class on St. Thomas, the class on here on the Albert A. Sheen campus, that was a part of how they described themselves and their journey.
We hear resilience all the time as a reality of what we have lived and what we continue to live through. It is extraordinary to me to appreciate the amazing ability of us as living beings to adapt and shift according to what is put in front of us. And I want to lift up the words of Dr. Robert Franklin, part of what he shared in his recent commencement address about this phenomenon. And he cited the words of Hemingway, I believe, and he talked about that life will break many, that life will bring you to a broken place, and many of us will become stronger because of the brokenness. And that, I would imagine, is the reality for many of us in this room. We know this refrain, we know this resilience, and yet, here we are again living through and moving through and being celebrated on this day. Yet on this service day, I believe that we must all individually and collectively and as an institution embrace wellness as the new normal. I want you to think about wellness being connected to resilience. There is no going back to what was. There must be an intentional focus on what creates individual and institutional wellness, because we all know that man-made and natural disasters, economic realities, dynamic changes is a part of living, working, and forward movement here at UVI, in the territory, and in the world. So if resilience is what anchors, then I would suggest for your consideration that pouring wellness with ongoing deliberate intention is the fertilizer, the water, the weed remover, the sunshine that nurtures what resilience grows out of. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, even as we celebrate all of you extraordinary individuals. And it's an opportunity to pause and reflect, even in this moment, this incredible journey that we all have been on. And I want to just lift up the fact for your hearing that mental health isn't the absence of illness. It's on a continuum ranging from those with severe symptoms like panic attacks and major depression to excellent mental strength and well-being. And so we have to be able to embrace wellness and all the spectrum of what that means and looks like. Because the reality is that at any point in time, you or any of your coworkers and your supervisors and others may be at anywhere along the point of that continuum. I looked up some of the work of what the American Psychological Association has been talking about, particularly as we embrace coming back and shifting in this work environment as we have had to do things differently over the last 2 years. And CEO Norman Anderson talked about the response to what will work be and look like. And he talked about 5 interconnected domains. The first one is employee involvement. It's the need to empower staff by involving them in decision-making and providing autonomy. Number 2, work-life integration. You can't work all the time. Providing flexibility about when, where, and how staff work. Number 3, employee growth and development. Expanding employees' knowledge and skills and helping develop their careers. Number 4, which is about today, employee recognition, rewarding employee contributions. And then lastly, health and safety, maximizing staff health by preventing, assessing, and treating potential risks and encouraging healthy behavior. He went on to note that on average, people spend 90,000 hours of their lifetime at work. 90,000 hours of your life at work. And so this notion of wellness now, given everything that we have journeyed through, is not optional anymore. It has to anchor in the reality of your work. And we have to focus all individually and collectively on what wellness looks like and means. And so there are 5 areas of wellness and well-being. And I ask you to consider for yourself, even in this moment, what does wellness in this moment of celebration even look like? So the well-being of purpose. Why do you stay anchored at UVI? Fulfilling a sense of purpose in terms of who you are, your skills, your passion, your abilities. Well-being, purpose. Well-being and social well-being. Think about the nature of your social connections, either with staff and those around you, your social connections outside of UVI. Do they need some tweaking, some enhancing, some ones that perhaps have suffered as a result of the last 2 or 4 years? But social well-being, financial well-being, well, that one's an ongoing thing, so we can explore that one. But the reality of social well-being and financial well-being is important to explore. Community well-being, this is part of what the gathering of the family of UVI is all about, creating opportunities for the community, just like commencement on both campuses, provide an opportunity for the community to celebrate the gift of finishing up and graduating under incredible circumstances, and also the broader community. And lastly, your physical well-being. For so many, the realities of Irma Maria and COVID have impacted all our physical selves in ways that sometimes you want to push away, but I really would invite you, even in this moment, as you listen to my voice and you listen to some of my words, to perhaps reflect on your own sense of your own physical well-being, because it matters profoundly. And even though we are all here in this moment of celebration, I would be remiss if I didn't raise the real important issue, particularly around May being Mental Health Awareness Month, this concept that is showing up in many workplace environments called languishing. Languishing is a reality that shows up, particularly in the workplace, and it's talking about the reality of the wellness of the workplace population. So you think of over a continuum with 100% of people. Typically in a workplace environment, there are 5% of those, perhaps even in here, who are suffering in some ways that we can't see or we don't know. Then 55% are languishing. You're in that middle place. The bar graph goes up like this middle place of languishing. 35% of you are thriving, revving up, moving towards the future. And then you got that 5%, the super duper duper who just kind of all the time. But the largest group is that middle group. And the middle group are part of our family. And those who love who are part of the UVI family, and perhaps part of your own family, those who may be in that place. APA, the American Psychological Association, defines languishing as the absence of mental health characterized by dissatisfaction from lack of engagement or excitement, apathy, listlessness, loss of interest in just about everything. But you still function, you show up, you are present in body, you get the basics of what needs to be done, but that place of moving forward with vitality and well-being is absent. And it's important to really pay attention to that, because languishing can turn into burnout. And burnout turns into a place that becomes really detrimental to mental health, well-being, physical health, and the ability to contribute. And so what can organizations and a UVI from the leading perspective do before we get to what can individuals do? What helps individuals to move out of languishing and to create a culture of mental fitness and well-being? And Mental Health America's Better Up talks about, number one, to recognize that mental fitness and well-being, they're foundations of performance. Without those things, you can't fully perform and be who you are. Two, that we have to reframe employee mental health around strength and growth, locking out the potential for individuals to keep growing, to get closer to how you think, feel, and perform at your best. Number three, invest in building mental strength throughout UVI and throughout the organization, that your growth, personally growing, fuels your connection with others and makes the institution stronger. Four, personalized support that meets employees where you are. What you need is different from what I need. What you need in the back is different from someone needs over there. It's individualized and personalized. Five, to model mental fitness from the top. So for leaders to demonstrate, I'm sweating up here, a lot of mercy, it's hot. For individuals to be able to manage and to show what mental fitness looks like from the top. And six, to implement mental fitness at the team level, because it's the power of the teams that things get done here at UVI. So while there are organizational realities about what the leaders can do, but what about you? When I picked up those shoes, I realized that those shoes no longer were serving me anymore. And I had to say goodbye and put them in the trash. But I let them go. And I would ask you, coming out of Irma Maria and COVID, what is no longer serving you well? Think about that. Let it resonate through you. What perhaps might you need to, on this service day, be of service to yourself and release some things that are no longer serving you well. Thoughts, habits, heart work, generosity, whatever that might look like, perhaps it's time to release those things that no longer serve you well. Last few things is that I was reading a book and she was talking about the power of soul care versus self-care. Soul care, I believe, at least as she was describing it, is what creates deep centering inner peace. And so I ask all of you on this service day, as you look towards greater service to UVI, as you look towards the next chapter post-retirement, what is your anchoring peace? Where does that come from? What are the practices that you do? Is it a contemplative prayer? Is it sitting in silence? Is it meditation? What are the things for you that are anchoring in that place of peace? Not rest, but peace. So if some people can run, others can walk, it releases endorphins in your body, but it may not necessarily create peace. So I invite you to think about, for you, what are your soul care practices? What are your self-care practices? And to think about them and to act on them. Maybe one is something that you would magnify over the course of the next couple of weeks, maybe for the rest of the month of May. Pick one thing. Do it with regularity so you integrate it into your life as your habit. And for some self-care possible activities, I want you to consider maybe having a device-free times of the day. What might it mean if for an hour in the course of every day, shut it off, turn it off, put the silencer on, and no electronic for an hour? Sorry, Charlene. Maybe just for an hour to allow yourself the shifting. Maybe that's your anchoring soul peace place. Pay attention to your feelings. We don't often talk about the nature and the power of feeling and emotion, but we all know through Maria and through COVID that we've all been in roller coaster rides around the experience. For our loved ones, for herself, for all of the ways in which that these two traumatic experiences have changed all of us internally and externally through resilience, and I want to add through wellness. But pay attention to your feelings, because they're information about what's going on before you push it away in your head. Our feelings originate in our gut. And before we can then move them to deny them and push them away, they have to move up through our limbic system and become information that we then interpret. So the more that you are able to be quiet with yourself and notice in your body when things are shifting, you then can know when something is distinct and different. Pay attention to your feelings. Hydration matters. Oh my Lord, drinking water. So many of us are actually really dehydrated, and it shows up because you're nasty and you're cranky and all of that, but you need to be drinking more water. And I saw, I think it was Vita from HR, that there's like a hydration contest or something that's going on from the government wellness system. Think about, are you drinking water enough? Consider practicing mindfulness, which is the gift of being present in the moment. So even for those of you, there's probably half of you that may or may not be listening to me right now, that may be thinking about what's coming next, but I invite you, even at this moment, to practice being here in this moment. Ask yourself, what do I need in this moment right now? That may be for somebody the thing that you may be giving to yourself as a wellness gift. Instead of going to the next thing, stop, pause, ask yourself, what do I need in this moment? Maybe it's a deep breath. Maybe it's to look out the window. Maybe it's a connection with someone that is important to you, to anchor you, that you are loved and connected. Ask yourself, what do I need in this moment? Similarly, ask for help. I think COVID and Maria have taught us that all of our lives are interconnected. We all depend on each other. And the gift of asking for help is a powerful sign of strength, not of vulnerability and weakness. And even if it is, it's a powerful sign of being human. So ask for help. And I want you to know that asking for help at times may mean more than just, let me call my girl. But it also means, let me get a therapist and a counselor to hear myself through the things that are of challenge for me. And it also may mean getting a mental health checkup. You don't have to be crazy. No. You can simply need a space. This is what I've been through Maria and through COVID. Let me have just a few sessions so I can hear myself through my journey. Just even a checkup. Use some sick time for mental health. Do some of y'all have sick time in here? I'm not trying to like not have people to work. But so oftentimes we interpret sickness as I'm sick or something is wrong. You can use your sick days as a wellness day so that you can promote and enhance and encourage yourself and model that for those who are in your circle. It's okay to use it in that way. Normalize with your peers and with yourself that wellness in the workplace is a natural new normal that is part of UVI. Get a checkup. One of the things that has been clear is that through COVID, that many folks have canceled regular checkups. You may have done telehealth, but your regular checkups, your annual checkups, I invite you, if you have not, please reconnect with your doctor or your provider and do those annual checkups. The things that you may think that are in your head may in fact be a function of what's happening in your body. Set boundaries as appropriate, in appropriate ways, but being able to navigate workspaces and projects in ways that are appropriate becomes really important to model to yourself when things are too much. And the last couple is I believe that journaling is a powerful resource for us to see ourselves back to ourselves. I've been keeping journals since I was in the 6th grade up until now. And I have learned along with that I've added the practice and giving of gratitude. And I began a gratitude journal last year in the midst of COVID, and I've kept it, began a new one. And part of what I realized with that I thought was, what does that mean? But when you begin to look for gratitude and you look for the blessing of the day and you have a space to capture it, it transforms how the day is interpreted. And you begin to look for those things that begin to anchor and how you see what the life that you are living is anchored in. So I want to challenge each of you that are gathered here to celebrate your longevity of service, to focus on the deepening care of you. The results will have enormous benefits for the well-being of UVI. Consider your soul care, your self-care, your wellness practices that all lead to well-being. And the last couple of things I want to ask, if I went around the room and asked you, what is your superpower that has kept you through COVID? It would be absolutely fascinating to hear what they are. And I hope that you would even have that kind of conversation with someone as you consider what it has meant and what it has been for you. Here's the last challenge. I want you to take a look to the person closest to you, and I want you to tell them thank you for your service. Look them in the eye or look around the table. Come on, even here. And look at the person on the other side. Tell them thank you for your service. On back there. So here's a challenge as I conclude. I want you to think of picking a person in a department that you don't work with every day. And next week, I want you to see if you accept the challenge of at least a couple of times of next week. Send them a text, give them a call, and tell them thank you. I'm so glad you're a part of the UVI community. You think y'all can handle that? You can do that? If you can do that, clap your hands. All right. Thank you for that. That's the power and the value of the gift of what UVI is and all the ways that UVI shows up that's being magnified today. It's a family celebration of your commitment, your perseverance, your stubborn determination, and that feeling that we all got when those students were walking across the stage. That's the power and the gift of this family of UVI. So I understand that there are some wellness days coming up. So I'm not just talking about this in the abstract, but there are 2 wellness days. And I believe there's a wellness day here on St. Croix on Friday. Is that correct, Mr. President? So this is an opportunity for all of you to reset, renew, rethink, recharge, redirect, reconsider some of the things that I've talked about in this journey of anchoring wellness as the new normal at UVI. So I close with the words of another reggae artist. Dr. Franklin closed with Peter Tosh. I'm going to close with Chronics. And I'm going to repeat the words of the song. And I was like, I wish my brother here he could play the song. But I want to read the words of the gift of the blessing. And these are from the words of I Can. When I look at where I'm coming from, I know I'm blessed, and I close my eyes and smile. Sometimes I feel like the richest woman in Babylon, and I've done my best, so everything's all right inside. Every morning I rise. I stare at the sun, I know it is a blessing. So when the evening comes, I lift up my eyes to the hills, I'm blessed, oh yeah. I lift my two hands in the air as far as I can. Oh yeah, my two hands as far as I can, because I'm blessed. UVI, you are blessed, and we will conclude together as we began that wellness is the new normal at UVI. Here we go. Wellness is the new normal at UVI. Two more times like you mean it. Wellness is the new normal at UVI. And one more time for the celebration. Wellness is the new normal at UVI. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Marilyn Braithwaite Hall. Dr. Hall, I was wondering, does she know about the wellness days? Because that was perfect. If you guys didn't get it, I was taking notes. So wellness being the new normal at UVI, she mentioned our activities coming up on Friday on St. Croix, and next week, Friday the 27th, on St. Thomas, where the university is encouraging all employees to take time away from the workday. Not an hour where you are without electronics, but a whole 8 hours without electronics, being paid for it, okay? So Friday, look out for that on St. Croix. Next Friday on St. Croix. I got that all mixed up. But anyway, next, we are going to welcome again President Hall to the stage. And we have Miss Anaya Lord and her trusty assistant, Miss Trudy Golphin, as we move forward with the service award presentations. We start with our 5-year recipients, those who have worked with us for 5 years. Amy Dreves. When I call your name, please come up to the stage. Jessica Ewer. Wendy Fedler. Sharon Honore. Timothy Kentop. And Michael Wilson. Those were our 5-year awardees. Ten years, Amy Sanchez. Magdalene Tobias, Patricia Toel, and Sharon Williams. "15 years, Shelley Anslin Jones," who I will say Shelley worked the ceremony. She is the organizer of this all, but luckily is not having to work through it. Shelley may also have the distinction of being belonging to 2 departments at UVI. Yes. No. So that was Sharon Williams ending the 10 years. Now we start 15 years with Shelley Anslin Jones. Kimmery Engerman. Paul Fleming. And Mary Josiah. Years, David Gould. 25 years, William Gonzalez. Now the big boys, some of us aspire to these things. 30 years, Stafford Crossman. Nice. 35 years, Donald Bailey and Sue Lakos. Forty years, Ivani Jeremiah. And our retirees, Gamaliel Carrasquillo, Robert Godfrey, Aunt Jones, Teresa Jovel, Randall Macedon, Myrtle Pemberton, Rosalind Polius, I like her outfit. I'm thinking, why is she retired looking so good? I aspire. Irene Ramos, Mary Richards, and Marcia Taylor. So these were our awardees and retirees for this year. Thank you, President Hall. Thank you, guys. We're getting close to the end. I welcome Ms. Sue Lakos up to the podium, who is going to tell us of our 2022 Employee of the Year. Ms. Lakos was the 2019. She did. She got. Did you get a parking space for 3 years? 2019 Employee of the Year, Sue Lakos, who is going to tell us and introduce us to our 2022 Employee of the Year.
Okay, good. Happy noon. Okay, this is the folder we've all been waiting for. This year's Employee of the Year is described as ambitious, purposeful, customer service oriented, professional, positive, accommodating, patient, and persistent. Is there anything else? The St. Croix campus's Employee of the Year has been described by the manager as super positive. If the campus were to catch on fire, this employee would say, "Where's the hose so I can go assist the fire department with extinguishing this fire?" I mean, most of us would be running away and it's like, ah! But this employee goes above and beyond to accommodate the needs of both internal and external customers, and does so with a smile. This employee can be seen at all hours of the day and evenings walking around the campus providing assistance to customers. And this employee is the glue that holds the St. Croix team together. Any ideas yet? This employee is the most senior St. Croix employee that embraces all the new team members and shows them the ropes. This employee is an asset to UVI and the greater community, as they have an extraordinary commitment to providing exemplary customer service, and they do so with UVI pride. This employee's coworkers describe them as a poster child for the phrase "jack of all trades" because of their ability to be adaptable, flexible, and the ability to learn new things easily. Whenever something new comes up, this employee would say, I haven't done it before, but let me figure it out. And this employee has touched the lives of everyone in every single department on campus. Their professional, patient, and kind demeanor has endeared the hearts of many on both campuses. This employee was born and raised on the beautiful island of St. Croix and graduated from right here, University of the Virgin Islands, with a Bachelor of Science degree in computer science. Hint, hint, hint. They are a lover of cats, guitars, and history. One of their bucket list items is to visit Machu Picchu in Peru. More hints. Anybody know? Their first job was a printer at Crucian Creations. They started their career at UVI as a business assistant and then became a media support specialist, information technology specialist, and is now the assistant help desk manager in the Information Services and Institutional Assessment Department. This year's Employee of the Year is none other than Mr. Giovanni Garcia, affectionately and lovingly known as Gio.
Dr. Hall is Coming back up. Thank you. In the hidden.
You want this. This is very nice to have. This is what you really
Anyone who knows me knows that this is my worst nightmare right now. But thank you, everyone. There are a lot of people that come to this campus and they give their heart and soul for this university. They work really hard for UVI. They come every day and they work with dignity, and they work with grace, and they work with dedication, and nothing deters them from their goals. So to be nominated and to be standing here and to be the Employee of the Year is a big honor. It's kind of ironic because I was speaking to Miss Lord. Miss Lord was a former Miss Lord was Employee of the Year a few years ago. So I was actually having a conversation with her just a while ago, and not a while ago, maybe a couple weeks ago. And I said to her, I would never be Employee of the Year like you. I don't do anything special. Nothing that I do can't be done by some other person better than I can, faster than I can, with more enthusiasm than I can. So to be nominated is a very deep honor. So thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Seven days a week, 24 hours a day, you can get Gio. He is ultimately responsive, so very much. As we close out our ceremony, I again welcome Mr. Capriola to come up and give us our benediction. Ooh, okay. Who's doing it? Who's this, Dr. Hall? Okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Capriola. Well, come, Mr. Capriola, and have a minute seat. Dr. Hall, you have a special presentation? Yes, you do, apparently. This is the secret Employee of the Year, or something.
Okay.
Well, this is a special presentation that I've been thinking about for years, but just found out that I need to do it a minute ago. There are employees of the year, but there are always those special individuals who contribute to our lives in ways that we sometimes take for granted, but without them, the institution can't move forward. And without them, there wouldn't be as much joy in the world or in our lives. So we collectively present this expression of our love and appreciation to Ms. Narita Washington. She is not willing to share any words, so I'll share some words on her behalf. She is just overjoyed with this thought of being recognized and appreciated, because she does the work not to be appreciated, but just to do the work, and because she loves UVI. Those are her words. My word is I thank you for picking me up at the airport, taking me back to the airport, doing all of the things that are needed to move this campus forward. No good deed, no beautiful flowers go without a request. I have been asking Ms. Washington for this facility to be air conditioned. And she is working hard on it. But based on how much our keynote speaker was sweating up here, we need to expedite the air conditioning of this place. Do we agree? Thank you, Narita, for being such a special person.
Please stand for the benediction.
Loving Creator, God of all people, we ask your blessing upon us this day of celebration of employee service. Be with us as we continue to pledge our dedication and respond to the call to be of good service to our students, our community, and one another. We now ask you inspire us to the greatness that is the fruit of all humble service, as we recall the words of Dr. Martin Luther King when he said, "If you want to be important, wonderful. If you want to be great, wonderful. But recognize that the greatest among you shall be the ones who serve others." That's the real definition of greatness. And it means that everybody can be great, because everybody can serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love, and you can be that servant. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you all for your attendance, your participation. We have a brunch for you. Please allow the honorees and awardees to proceed first. Thank you.